This video is on how to field strip and clean the CZ P01. To get started, you'll need a few things: nylon brush, CLP, microfiber rag, 9mm size board brush, 9mm size jag, a cleaning rod, cotton swabs, cleaning patches, and a bore snake. You can get any of these items from your local gun shop or sporting goods store, but it's less expensive on Amazon. I'll leave links to everything in the comments below. Always start out with an empty weapon, but of course I'm going to double check. To do that, press the mag release button, drop the magazine, work the slide a few times. If you accidentally left ammo inside the chamber, it's going to eject at this point. Pull the slide back to the rearmost position and hold it open by pressing the slide stop upward. Visually and physically inspect the chamber, and we are 100% clear. Go ahead and press the slide stop downward and release the slide. Now look for the two small lines towards the back of the gun and line them up. Those are takedown notches. Line them up just like so. I'm making something of a C-clamp with my left hand just to keep the takedown notches lined up together. So I'm basically holding the slide a little bit out of battery. Look for the small button on top of the trigger guard. That's the other side of the slide stop. Use the corner of your magazine base plate and push it in. Now pull the slide stop completely out from the other side. Remove the slide from the frame. To remove the recoil spring, press it down from chamber end to muzzle end. Take out the barrel, and now your field strip. This is as far as you need to go for a basic field strip and clean. You have your frame, your magazine, the slide stop, the barrel, the recoil spring assembly, and the slide. You don't have to clean these parts in any particular order, but today I'm going to start with the barrel. Add CLP to a nylon brush and start scrubbing all surfaces. Be sure to clean the feed ramp really well. Now put the bore brush on the cleaning rod and make sure it's the correct caliber. It's either going to say 380, 9mm, 38, in this case it says 357. Add CLP to the brush and push it through, only go in one direction, from chamber end to muzzle end. The reason is it doesn't make any sense at all to push the dirt out and pull it right back in. Kind of like when you're sweeping the floor. You don't just push the broom back and forth, you'll just spread dust everywhere. You generally push it out one direction, into a dustpan or out the door. Sure, you could do it the easy way and just push the brush back and forth, but this way only takes a few extra seconds. It doesn't hurt anything. This is the way you would clean a high precision rifle, so why not clean your pistol the same way? So all you do is push it through from chamber end to muzzle end, then remove the bore brush when it comes out the muzzle end, pull out the cleaning rod, put the bore brush back on the rod, and repeat the process. Be sure you're holding the cleaning rod by the handle. This allows the bore brush to spin freely within the rifling. If you were to just push the brush through by holding the cleaning rod and not the handle, the bristles on the bore brush will just scrape right over the rifling and you may not get a good clean. Attach the cleaning jag to the rod. Add CLP to the patch and push it through. Just like the bore brush, you're going to push it through from chamber end to muzzle end. The first patch will come out dirty. Just keep pushing fresh patches through until they start to come out clean. Make sure you're using the correct size bore snake. It's going to say 38, 9mm, or 357, in this case 38. Drop the weighted end into the chamber, pull it out through the muzzle end. Repeat this a couple of times, then inspect the bore. Using the bore snake is optional, but this is why I use a bore snake. If you look down the bore, it's hard to show on camera, but it looks perfect. There's not so much as a speck of dirt, dust, fouling, carbon, or anything like that. It actually looks like shiny black glass. Now this barrel is totally clean inside and out, but I don't want to leave it dry, so I'm going to add a light coat of CLP to the outside. You do want to leave the bore dry, unless you're going to have it in storage for a long period of time. If that's the case, then you can leave a light coat of CLP inside the bore. Now let's clean the recoil spring. Remove the guide rod from the spring, add CLP to the brush, and scrub in between the coils. Now clean the guide rod. Wipe the excess CLP off and you're done with this part. Now I'm going to clean the slide stop off with CLP. Wipe off the excess CLP. Now I'm going to add a couple of drops of CLP just to leave a light coat of lubricant on it and smooth it out with a cotton swab. Let's move on to the slide. Add CLP to the nylon brush and scrub all surfaces. Be sure to clean the breech face really well, but be careful not to leak CLP down into that hole that the firing pin comes out of. Also clean well behind the extractor. That's that little hook device next to the breech face. The small end of the nylon brush works really well for the extractor. After you've loosened up all the dirt you can with a nylon brush, add CLP to a cotton swab and go through it in fine detail. Now that the slide is totally clean, I'm going to add a medium coat of lube to the rails as well as anything else that shows evidence of metal on metal wear. Let's start on the frame. Add CLP to the nylon brush and scrub all surfaces. And it is okay to clean these G10 grips with CLP. They're not going to be slippery when we're done. Give special attention to the rail channels. Now that I've loosened up all the dirt with a nylon brush, I'm going to go through with a clean cotton swab and clean it in fine detail. Just keep running fresh cotton swabs through the rails until they start to come out clean. Once the frame's totally clean, add CLP to a fresh cotton swab and add a light coat of CLP to all metal surfaces and a medium coat of lube to the rails. Now wipe off any excess CLP. The best way to get the CLP off of these G10 grips is just wrap a rag around them and squeeze. You don't need to disassemble the magazine every time you clean, unless you dropped it in dirt, mud, sand, or something like that. But if you do need to break it down, it's simple enough. I really don't think you need a video to show you how to do it. Just use a punch, a pin, or similar tool and press that button at the bottom of the base plate. Slide the base plate off. The spring and follower will come out. Clean everything with CLP. Wipe it off. Clean the magazine sleeve. Wipe that off and put everything back together the same way it came apart. But today that's just not necessary, so I'm just going to give it a basic clean. Add CLP to the nylon brush, but be careful not to get anything inside these witness holes, like right there or right there, where you can see the ammo count. And you don't want to leak any CLP down underneath the follower. So if CLP is starting to run into places that you didn't want it to go, then you're using too much. There's no need to leave CLP on the magazine. You can wipe it completely dry. Now it's time to reassemble. Put the barrel back into the slide. Now reinstall the recoil spring. When installed correctly, it should look just like this. Now line up the rails on the slide with the rails on the frame. Pull the slide back and line up the takedown notches. Now I'm just holding the slide out of battery so that the takedown notches are lined up together, and I'm going to put the slide stop back in. So now it's reassembled and I'm going to do a function check. Work the slide, pull the trigger, but don't let it go. Work the slide again. Release the trigger, you'll hear and feel it reset. Now pull the trigger again. If the hammer drops, you're good. But I also like to make sure the slide locks back on an empty magazine. To do that, insert the empty magazine, pull the slide back. If it locks back, everything's good. I made this video for total beginners, so I hope it helped you out. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments, and if you have a moment, go to skullcrush.com.